good, but you do not want a kidney stone. You may want to fall wiener first in a badger hole, but you do not want a kidney stone. How many people have had a kidney stone? How many people have fallen wiener first in a badger hole? One lady over here. Okay, fine. Here's how I know you don't want a kidney stone. A couple of years ago, I'm getting new tires put on my truck. They actually put the tires on. I'm inside at the counter. I'm about to pay for it. I feel great. Out of nowhere, it was like I got hit in the small of the back with a bolt of lightning. Yeah. I made a noise. I was like, yeah! I didn't say it was a masculine noise. It was a noise. About 10 seconds later, it hit me again. I was like, yeah. Well, Dwayne, the guy that's ringing me up, he looked at me and he said, and I quote, he goes, "Hey, I ain't no doctor," which caught me off guard. I figured he was a doctor and he didn't like wearing the stethoscope while he's changing tires. He goes, "I ain't no doctor, but I think you got a kidney stone because my brother had one and that's what he acted like." And it wasn't that I didn't trust Dwayne's diagnosis, but I got to thinking, you know, Jeff, you have a little money. Why not get a second opinion? So I have a friend, he's a urologist, and I called him, I said, "Dude, I think I might have a kidney stone." He said, "Well, come in, we'll take an x-ray." And I went in, they did the x-ray, and he comes out, he thinks he's a comedian. He's like, "All right." He said, "I got good news and bad news." He said, "The good news is you don't have a kidney stone." He said, "The bad news is you have 5 of them and one of them is huge." And he proceeded to give me an anatomy lesson. Apparently the stones, they form inside your kidneys, but when it's in your kidney, it doesn't hurt. You don't know you have it. It's when it decides to leave the kidney, it has to go down a tiny tube called the ureter down to the bladder. And he said a big stone can be 6 or 7 times wider than the tube. And if you haven't had one, they really need to rename them, because people that haven't had one, when they hear stone, they're thinking smooth river rock, gently tumbling down the stream. That is not what a kidney stone looks like. Kidney stone has got points and hooks and blade. It looks like a giant ball of rusted barbed wire with razor blades super glued to it, and then Tabasco sauce all over the top. And so every time it moves, it is ripping through muscles and blood vessels and nerves. He said trying to pass a big one's like trying to get a porcupine to walk backwards through a garden hose. And the pain, he said the pain of passing a big one is the equivalent of a woman giving birth without even taking an aspirin. All right, pull the lights up for me a little bit if you don't mind. Show of hands, how many women in here, you've done both? You've had a kidney stone and a baby. Over here, which kidney stone and a baby, which one hurt the most? The kidney stone. Anybody else? You've done both? Which one hurt the most? Kidney stone. Over here, 2 over here. Which one hurt the most? Kidney stone. She said I'd have her 3 times before I had another kidney stone, including today, right? Yeah. Anybody else is all kidney stones so far? Lady right here, kidney stone. No babies tonight? Every once in a while, lady over here, baby, you say? Or kidney stone? Yeah. Kidney stone. Every once in a while somebody will say a baby and I go, okay, as defense attorney for the kidney stone, this would be my argument. A few years after having a baby, a woman will say, you know what? I am about ready to have another child. Yeah. You never hear anybody go, well, I've about quit puking and crying. I think I'll drink a case of Coca-Cola, see if I can't work up another kidney stone. It is cross-eyed crazy pain. And when my doctor saw the big one, he immediately started writing me a prescription for Percocet. And I said to him, I said, dude, I don't take aspirin. There's no chance in hell I'll eat Percocet. That thing started moving. I'm eating Percocet like they are peanut M&Ms. I went from being Dr. Oz to Keith Richards in about 3 seconds. And one night the pain was so bad the Percocet wasn't making a dent in it. I looked at my wife and said, you got to take me to the hospital. And if you ever have a kidney stone and you go to the hospital, you remember Jeff told you, they are going to laugh at you. She dropped me off at the little place there at the emergency room. She went to park. I walk in, the lady's at the desk. She goes, what's wrong, hon? I said, I have a kidney stone. She goes, She said, you're going to be waiting a long time tonight, baby. I said, no, ma'am, I'm not. I said, I can't wait. I said, I've never been in this much pain in my entire life. She goes, well, you just feel like you're going to die, but you're not. She handed me a clipboard and shooed me. I go sit in the waiting area. I sit down next to a guy that's got a knife in his head. This guy has got a knife stuck in his head. I said, oh my word, were you in a fight? He said, no, I have a kidney stone. I did this to myself trying to get the back there. Now, when you went through your kidney stone, did they give you a strainer to pee through? Yeah. They give you a strainer to pee through because they want you to catch it. So they can test it and find out what it's made of. Then you eliminate that from your diet. And so every once in a while when that stone would move, it would settle in such a position that it would block the urine stream. And it was the weirdest feeling because you felt like you were going to wet your pants, but when you tried to go, nothing happened and it hurt. So every time you had to go, you pull that strainer out. And I just remember the very first Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that kind of awkward animated thing. Remember the prospector in that movie? Yukon Cornelius, that's who I felt like. Nothing. Thank you. Probably one of the best Yukon Cornelius impersonations you've ever seen. Would you like to see it again? Nothing. So y'all, this went on for 6 weeks. I passed the 4 smaller stones, no problem. And every day that big one, it's moving a little bit, but it is putting me on my knees in the floor. And then some days it's blocking the urine, and I'm got tears rolling down my face. And I thought, I am going to lose my mind. And then all of a sudden I hit 4 days where I felt great. And I'm thinking, did I miss it in the strainer, or heck, maybe it dissolved, you know. So I go back to the doctor, they take another x-ray, and the big stone had lodged at a bend in the ureter right next to the bladder. But because it lodged, it wasn't moving. So it didn't hurt. And it wasn't blocking the urine. And I'm like, let's leave it there till the Lord comes back, right? But the doctor's looking at the x-ray and he goes, yeah, I don't like where that's at. He goes, I'll give you about a week to pass it, and if you don't, we'll have to go get it.
I've had that surgery.
I've got a question. When you say go get it, what kind of trip we talking about there? He said, well, we got a flexible metal cord with a retractable claw on the end of it. He said, we'll stick that claw up your exit-only ramp. He said, we'll go through your bladder, we'll find that stone, we will grab it and drag it out kicking and screaming. He said, once we get it out, we'll put a stent in the claw, go right back in a second time, and insert that stent into the walls of the ureter, which by now, quite honestly, have lost the will to live. He said, we'll leave it in there for a week or two, then we go in a third time. He said, we'll grab the stent and we just yank it out.
True story.
And I am thinking, since they outlawed waterboarding, this is what they are doing to get terrorists to talk. So where's bin Laden? I do not know. Oh, you don't know. All right, well, we're going to get the flexible cord with the claw and see if we can't find a kidney stone. You sons of the beaches. He's living in Pakistan in a White House on the corner. The gate code is yeah. You will find him upstairs, last bedroom on the right. I am telling you, the idea of 3 trips with the claw scared the willy out of me. I'm like, I am not doing that. So I took my daughter's advance. I Googled it, and they said maybe cranberry juice helps you pass one. I'm guzzling cranberry juice. I'm jumping on the trampoline. I'm doing anything I can think of to dislodge this stone. And it must have worked, because a couple of nights later, my wife and I were watching TV, and I got up at one point to go to the restroom, and right in the middle of going, I just had a split-second little knee buckling sharp pain. You know, it's like, woo! Y'all, I look down, and there is a gray spiky BB rolling down the inside of the porcelain towards the hole. Well, after 6 weeks, I wanted that stone. And without thinking, I stuck my arm in the toilet, I grabbed it, and I pulled it out. Wiped my arm on my pants, I zipped them up. I marched down the hall into the living room. I went to the mantle. I took down my People's Choice Award, and I put it right up there in the track lighting. Shoot, I gotta get out of here. Well, trust me, I don't want to, but I do have